Hey, what's going on, YouTubers, day traders, and market participants? Boy, did we have a crazy day on Friday. Market just ripped Moon City because the Fed has switched their tone and they're looking to change their policies on how they analyze inflation, right? So that was the big news on Friday. On Jackson Hole, market took off, right? So we're going to get into some key areas that you gotta be aware of on the SPY. We're actually coming up to some levels of resistance, kind of breaking a longer term trend. So, got to be cautious of that. With using the weekly chart, we can kind of see where the next week is going to go. Nvidia earnings is going to take place, I think, in the middle of the week, but there are some major shifts happening. It all started on Friday. Let's see the continuation go through. But without further ado, let's get into the charts.
シャララいつかきっと僕は手にするんだ
It actually looks very, very good here. This was the daily candle here, as we can see. Honestly, it just shot up off of this moving average, which was perfect, and shot up way through, getting us to all-time highs. On the week, we have all of the negativity that happened this week got absorbed at the last second on the last day and pushed up to new all-time highs. Could this be a bear trap? Not sure. I would say though that now that we hit this 646 level, I mean, the next would be 648 and then 650. So if we get up to 648 very fast, then I definitely see 650 at this week's range, and then we'll have to see what happens next week. But if we can claim 648, that'll be very good. If we keep being top heavy at 646 and we start getting some rejection there, we might have our kind of our double top a little bit because we kind of had it high over here. And now we hit the same high, very similar though here, but this price action on Friday was very, very strong. So there should be some follow through, but it's also in a very, very tight area when you look at it on the weekly chart because you're just starting to get really far extended. You do have your purple moving average now curling up and going up, so that's perfect. That's really good. It's kind of what we want to see, but we just haven't had a chance to cool off yet. So I think maybe September and October, but I still think 650 is in the cards more than I see us going down right now. So keep your eyes on the SPY. Love it. Some plays that we can kind of go over that I mentioned in last video. Pinduo Duo, perfect, right? I was already in around here, and now we got a nice pop-up candle here. I took profits here. We're extended from the blue line here, and that's my main reason for taking profits here. Um, don't have to sit around and wait for it to come back on you. I mentioned APLD in the last few days too because I bought in here. It's still doing what it's doing. I am out because we did hit a pretty big high, almost got back to that $17 mark. So I did exit this trade, but this trade still looks very good. Any pullback down here into the 14, I would probably reassess for another APLD move. One stock that I kept putting on everybody's radar is NNE. NNE is very good. It's nuclear play, and so it's backed. It's going to be backed by the Trump administration. They've already said this, and NNE is in it. So why not buy right now? Actually, right now is actually a really good time. Why? Because we're at this key moving average. This key moving average is what all big investors look at. They all see this big key moving average here and they wait for the price to get there and they strike, all right? You had 3 days down here to get it. You really did. And now it's off and now we got bullish momentum on the market with growth plays. NNE is in a great spot to continue. I love it down here at this $30 range. We can get back up to 40 very quickly, very easily. I like what NNE is doing. Same as SMR. I pulled SMR up not too long ago. I pulled it up here. This is when I bought it. Soon as it hit this moving average here, I was like, you know what? I like this right here. So I am in SMR with long dated options. I'm hoping to get back up to this 45 range and then ultimately the highs and or 55, right? And on the weekly chart, we actually have a nice pull down, a pullback into a key area right here for support. I really enjoy this pullback. This pullback is really nice. This one was even a better pullback, but this is a good pullback. It's a strong pullback, but it's a solid pullback. And as you can see, it hasn't even compromised because this is the big move you can see here that it's made and it's still in that halfway portion of that move, which is perfect, which looks good for a continuation of a break of those 55s. Not sure when, right? But as you can see, SMR has been selling off for quite some time, right? So it's time for it to it could come up to these resistance it could come up to these moving averages and kind of like hit a ceiling and then get pushed back down back to these key moving averages. That's also a possibility, but I still like my odds here of this upward move. I like my risk to reward ratio where I entered in here, so now I have this much room to make and this much room to lose. I could lose this right here, but I can make this, right? So that is basically how I'm looking at it because if we get under these averages, then I think the money's leaving and then it's probably going to come back down here, which wouldn't surprise me. You gotta learn how to be quick and nimble, guys, in this game. Um, we were talking about Palantir as well. Palantir looks good just like I said, it hit this key moving average. We already showed signs of people wanting to get into this right here with a lot of volume. The next day, nothing happened because everybody was waiting for Jackson Hole. And then, boom, we get a push up because we are now confident that the Fed has made up their mind for a rate cut, and we should go up higher. Now, if September comes along and I don't think they'll change their mind about the rate cut, but by them actually saying we're having the rate cut, it could obviously just trigger the market to sell off first, just because of recent events and how far we've ran up. All right, guys. I also did mention SoundHound. I like where Sound is at again, and it now has finally actually given us the go sound, the go. So I like that green has now taken over red in a key moving average area. That is perfect. That is on the daily. If you check out the weekly chart here to your right, you can actually see that we've just kind of been grinding upward, right? So I like that we had this pull down into this area, and this area was bought up at the end of the week. I love to see it. Now, if we can just get a nice little green candle that kind of shows us like this, if the green candle goes all the way back up to the top of this of the chain, that would be pretty crazy. That means there's a lot of strength. But at least if we can get by the end of next week back up to 14 here, that would be a good area of yes, we have gotten buyers back in here and they're still buying. So I really like SoundHound right here at these areas. All right, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. I do see next week being super bullish, especially for the growth stocks, the small cap stocks, altcoins. I'm not really following it as much, but it's how the cycle works. All risk assets, it's risk on type of environment. We also saw the rotation on Thursday and Friday. Those Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all of the stocks that are staple stocks, they were taking a seat on the back burner because growth and high risk came into play. So you could see altcoins also getting that momentum, right? So the ones that I did mention to you guys, I think were good growth stocks at certain key areas. They're not all the way at the top, but they've been pulled back, which gives them more room back to the upside. So I hope you guys did enjoy the nuggets that I left in this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.